Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you some things that fall up instead of down. So I have a ramp set up here. You can see that this end is definitely higher than this end. To prove that the table's not slanted, you can see my level here is flat, but then put it on here, and the bubble's up here, so you can see this is definitely slanted. You can also tell it's slanted if I set a cylinder on it, it'll roll off the end. But then something weird happens when I put this on it. It doesn't go down. In fact, if I start it at the bottom of the hill, it rolls up. Now this is really weird. Watch this. What in the world? So watch both of these at the same time now. They go opposite directions. What in the world? What if we switch them? Then they contain each other. We can even make it a little bit steeper here. Still goes up. It's so weird. Again, both of them on it. Then if I even make it a little bit steeper, set it on here, it should roll down, right? But it just stays right in place now. Whereas this one just goes right off really fast. Finally, if I get it steep enough, I can get it to roll down. Now this isn't the only phenomenon that I've seen where things can roll uphill. For example, check out this previous video I did with the styrofoam disc. You can see that it's an easily a curved surface propped up on these books here. But when I try to roll it down, it rolls up. How is this happening? How can something roll uphill, or basically fall up? Well, what about things that we know naturally just move upward, like a balloon, for example? Well, the reason that a balloon goes upwards isn't necessarily that it's falling upward, but it's being pushed upward. In fact, gravity is still pulling things downward. In fact, it's pulling the air around it downward. It's pulling the balloon downward, but the air is being pulled a little bit harder than the balloon, and so the air goes below it and pushes the balloon upward. So that means if we were to take the air out of the situation, for example, put a helium balloon in a vacuum chamber, then the helium balloon would just fall like normal. And as you can see here, that's exactly what happens. So when I turn on my vacuum chamber, the balloons will expand, and what I'm going to try to do and hope for is that they'll expand, but the balloon will keep it pressurized enough so that the outside air will be less dense than the helium inside of it. And at that point, the helium balloon should fall. Fall. I'm trying to turn it off right before they pop. Oh, that one fell. See? Stop floating. And oh, they both fell. Look at that. So even things that we know move upward are only moving upward because things around it are moving downward faster than it is, and so it causes it to be pushed upward. So how did I just show you two things that seem to move upward instead of downward? Well, it's because they are actually moving downward still, not up. So in order for something to fall, that means that its center of mass or its center of gravity, if you could locate the midpoint of the weight of the object, that's its center of mass or center of gravity. That always is going to move downward as soon as you release an object. For example, a cool way to find the center of mass of an object that has a smooth stick on it like this, you just move your fingers towards the center, and they'll eventually find the center themselves to an exact balancing point. So you'll notice on this mop here that the center point or the center of gravity is not exactly in the middle. This side's longer than this side. But because this side has more weight on it, the center of gravity is pushed this way. So the center of gravity isn't always at the same point as the center of the object. So in the case of this cone shape here, the center of mass is directly in the center. Now let's watch where the center of mass goes when I release it and it rolls uphill. You'll notice that the center of mass is right here to start with, and then I release it and it actually ends up lower than it was when it started. So the cone didn't actually fall up, it still fell down. In order to fall down, it had to roll, but that rolling made it lower its center of gravity, and so it was still falling. And the same thing with the styrofoam disc that I showed. The styrofoam disc just had a weight on one side of it, and that caused the center of mass to be lopsided, and so the center of mass actually ends up lower when it rolls up the books. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments section and I'll try to get to them. And if you haven't checked out theactionlab.com, you can check it out and see the Action Lab experiment boxes and see the experiment book that's for sale there as well. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.